I've said hello, everybody, haven't I? Hey, can you hear us all there? Yeah? That's too bad. Pete loved his life and family and friends. It's not surprising how many people are here today. Pete knew someone wherever he went. It was a guts effort. His longing to live and out of palliative care twice or once, but it didn't matter. And his three wonderful children, there you are, absolutely, so brave. Hannah, Mario, family support, friends, you know who you are. I knew Pete as a baby, growing up in a neighbourhood in North Brisbane, a cross between suburban country. We made cubby houses, tree houses out of tin and timber with hessian bag curtains, underground cubbies with secret compartments. Sleeping in them overnight, toad hunting, rocking tin roofs that never gave our footballs back when they went over the fence. Had quite a musical sound in the middle of the night. Ting, 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 ting. That was the end of our sleep-outs, but Pete's family had a holiday house on Coolum Terrace, full of character. Lino floors, sliding timber windows, sugar bananas growing up the northern side. As his love for Coolum and the ocean began, Pete was a great community person. Surf coaching, board riders president, captain of the great free time machine. There's a lot of players here today. Had the time of our lives playing for that team. And Pete ran on the field like it was a state of origin day. He'd just knock them over. Yeah. A competitive surfer with many trophies and photos. I have so many stories. Always had a liking to buying cars and boats. My goodness. I'll just come off the message, but he'd ring me or say, come and have a look at my new car or boat, you know. I go, oh, okay. It's never new. Yeah, there's nowhere near new, you know. You go, I'm not going out to sea in that. I go, no way, I'm not even, yeah, anyway. You end up going out and getting caught in all sorts of blustery weather and just making it home. And they called him the skipper. Yeah, Gilligan's Island stuff. Yeah. Anyway, he had an old Falcon sedan, early 70s model. Beautiful old car, round tail lights, little blinkers in the middle. He says, we're going up the beach. I said, what, in that? He said, yep, let's go. We made it. We went round the Cherry Venture, had a surge of water coming through it, just clipped the back end of the car, surged up the beach to a cheering crowd of Maroochydore blokes. To this day, it was one of the most memorable surfs I've ever had. It was just a beautiful day. Left-handers just peeling off the point. Pete loved his footy and the mighty Maroons. I was lucky enough to watch my last footy match with Pete in hospital, the Broncos versus the Bulldogs. I thought we were going to get kicked out. Pete's booming voice was just bellowing down the hallways of the hospital. Catch the bloody thing, you know. I was just holding my breath, you know. I was just going, oh, well, here we go. This is Pete. This is good. Pete's plumbing business was a successful and part of his amazing lifestyle. I can't say enough about how Pete lived a millionaire's lifestyle, and he made the best of everything. He ate the best food, did the best things, surfed waves right to the very end. Bought a house at Iluka, sort of beautiful little coastal village that reminded him of Coolum of the yesterday. Made a comfy little shed out the back. Ceilings were a bit low for me, good for Pete. But that was the part of Pete's life. He could manage to pull those things off. Yeah. So yeah, I did the trick. We stayed there only for a few days at a time. I think that was enough with head knocks. Pete had a strong faith in God, he made many good friends and would like to thank them and their support throughout. It's been like a rock, you guys, and I really appreciate that with you and the family. Absolutely. Little short box stories. Oh, hold on. Oh, hold on. Oh, yeah, I got that. Sorry, we'll go with it. The stories, I've just got Bill and Daff. Wow, what parents, you know. You were like parents to me, and my 90th mum still says, you were the best neighbours we've ever had. Okay, backyard footy. School footy at Lane Park, which Pete played at high school. Not many people played football at Lane Park or Suncord Stadium. You could surf in Kalbarri, WA, a lot of stories there. A lot of good blokes, his mates. Surfing Indonesia, that just goes on through Pete's lifestyle. Surfing early Bali, Uluwai too. I remember being on the back of a bike running through Kuta with Pete, and it's probably early 80s, probably late 70s. He wasn't much of a bike rider either. I used to just hold on for dear. I don't even know how I made that one. It was shocker. Free time meetings. Wow. They were after our football game, and we'd put the blackboard out and see how we can better our teams. And yeah, it was a great night. Fantastic. Family dinners. Pete always talked about his family dinners with Hannah's curries, and just enjoyed his life with beautiful life of eating good food and family life. Absolutely. Staying at the lighthouse at Double Island Point. That's just so memorable. It was one of the most precious places on earth, that one. I hope it never changes. Fishing and surfing. No, that's about it. Coolum, Yurumba. Let's have a great day. And may we all live in peace. Thank you. Good on you all.
I'll wait till you get your job.
All right.
Hello everybody, I'm Bob. For anyone that doesn't know me, I'm Peter's older brother. I'm going to struggle to maintain here, but here we go. Better put my glasses on, might help. We've seen death in our family before, but nothing as sad as this. Peter, Roon Dog, Skipper, he was my brother. It's important to associate Peter with all these names as I struggle to stay on track with a single name for Peter. I couldn't have wished for a better brother. More than a brother, Peter was truly my mate. From playing in the backyard with Wally and the other neighbours, to fishing at Double Island Point, that Wally hit on as well, at the lighthouse and things like this. Only last month we did this. We've been firm friends. I can't ever remember having a serious argument with Peter, ever. To me, true mateship in Australia is a dying art. We now consider cyber acquaintances, recent acquaintances, big night out acquaintances, all so-called mates. Sometimes these work out to be long-term, but usually not. I deviate a bit. Peter did not subscribe to social media like Facebook or anything. I don't either. I think one of the things the world is missing these days is the ability to pick up the phone or get in the car and go and talk to each other. He excelled at this. He touched many people's hearts. Have a look around you right now. Sure, there's lots of surfers here, but there are also people here from many different walks of life, different ages, different locations, all of who would class Peter as a best mate. I think it's indicative when you see Peter's friends from childhood, primary school, high school, all the stages of the Coolum evolution, here still regarded as very close friends. This is the definition of true mateship. Reem was probably the strongest person I've ever known. I don't think I could have performed as well under the same circumstances. He was diagnosed with cancer around 2 years ago, and through pure grit, crushed it, and he appeared to have got through it. All the reports were good. But the mongrel of a disease returned last August with a vengeance. This did not daunt Peter at all. Right to the end, he was going to beat it. No alternatives. Until the end, it was impossible to discuss failure. There was no discussion. He found strength in God. This reinforced his natural strength. In the church we now stand within, he kindled many, many new relationships, as Rod has alluded to, which again proved to be true mateship. His health deterioration was ridiculously rapid. He had a considerable amount of stress in his final weeks, but whilst through it without a backward step. He took it in his stride. It's important that I can relay on to all of you that he passed away in peace without pain. This thanks to the fantastic work of the Dove Palliative Care Unit. The last hours of Peter's life were unbelievable. He reacted with such warmth every time one of us was close and holding his hand, even though he was in a really heavily drugged state. He knew we were there. I take my hat off to Peter's children, Lani, Kyle, Jarvis. They rallied for their father when things were down, 24/7. They provided happiness, assistance, nutrition, mental support, whatever was needed, they were there. And they stuck to him like glue right through the last months. I've seen them evolve through this process, and they've really grown up into fine young adults. They've really reinforced their strengths. My children consider Peter as having true Superman uncle status. Peter and I had different friends at different times, but we always gravitated back together. To be honest, these different friends even gravitated to get back together, which made the Coolum scene evolve into what it is today. Wally hit on this. We were members of the most successful touch football team probably in the world. There are some in this room that probably won't agree, but this is my story. It started out as a javelin, evolved into the Coolum cinema, and finally became the famous free time machine. Our family life was epic. I can say nothing else. Mum and Dad, as we've been told, bought a house in the early 60s in Coolum Terrace, and they ferried us all over the coast, as my dad was the beach inspector for the Sunshine Coast. We surfed beaches alone from an early age on coolites, on surfer planes, and eventually on really crappy surfboards. These beaches now, you've just about got to have a ticket to get in the water. Through the 80s, this house became the epicentre of crazy things that young people do in Coolum. But it was also a bonding place for mega friendships that many of us older crew really cherish now. It was nothing to have 60 people hanging around in the morning after a big night of fun and games, all licking our wounds. Coolum at this time was an ultra-tight community, from cane farmers to lifesavers to shop owners and surfers. Everyone, young or old, knew of each other. It's a shame these days are lost. Peter often led the charge in disorderly behaviour. I'm sure everyone's aware of instances of this. Typically for me, a couple of standouts are the Saturday morning that the police came around asking to talk to Roon. My mum was one of the straightest women I've ever seen, but she was strong. She just took it in her stride. She was ready to go at the police, you know. But anyway, the background is we used to go to Surf Air on a Friday night, and the drive home would become pretty interesting, to say the least. One of the favourites was board rack surfing. So, you know, it'd be nothing to see a car go past with a guy on top doing this. So anyway, Peter was doing this. I think I've got the story straight from what I can remember. With one of his mates, who shall remain nameless. Flex, if I get it wrong, correct me. Anyway, they managed to lose track of the road and went through the airport fence. The coppers said, dragged him aside and said, tried to reprimand him, but said, look, go and get some tools, there's some wire down there. You guys go down and fix the fence and we'll call it quits. So we all thought that was a pretty good outcome. Another classic of Pete's life was the New Year's Eve day, and Dad, you'll remember this, he came home and woke both myself and Dad up and said, look, I need a hand to get my car home, it's stuck. And we went, oh yeah, where is it? He said, it's near the bays. So we went to the bays and no car. And we said, well, where's your car? And he went, down there. Down to the side. And sure enough, here's his Falcon station wagon parked perfectly at second bay, just below the steps, on the sand. You know, we're just gobsmacked. How the hell do you manage to get a car down there? What had transpired is Peter and his girlfriend at the time had, after the night at the surf club, decided to go to the picnic table and do a bit of canoodling. They were obviously so eager and maybe a little inebriated that they forgot to put the car in gear and pull the handbrake on. So in the middle of whatever they were doing, they turned round to see the car just sliding over the edge. The thing went all the way down, rolled once, landed perfectly on the beach. If that had happened these days, it would have killed someone, because I think there's people 24/7 on second bay. We got Clayton's towing in. The guy was amazed. He said, this is amazing. And he said, I don't know how I'll go, but he hooked on a tow rope, dragged the thing back up the hill. I got in it, fired it up, first shot. We drove home, had breakfast, had a few more beers, and I think about a month later Peter drove that car over to Kalbarri and back again. Amazing. Okay, so there's hundreds of similar stories, and I'm sure we're going to hear some down at the board riders. But in those days, it was fun. There was some risk. No one was ever injured badly. It was good, clean fun, mostly. Which unfortunately, I think is something that's lacking to the young people of today. The world is or Australia anyway, is a very, very controlled environment. If only we could turn back the hands of time. Our family really sincerely thanks Rod and the members of this church. This has been a fantastic morning. I don't think we could have done it better. The Coolum board riders, of course. The Dove Palliative Care Unit of Cloundra, they were fantastic. I've never met a better bunch of medical people. And the countless people, you people that have always been there for Peter and mates of Peter's. Rest in peace, my little brother. We will be united someday. You'll be severely missed. I love you, brother.
Good on you.